Hey YouTube, how you guys doing today? Kevin here, coming back at you with another video. So you guys have known the little bit of stuff that's been going on with my KM100. It is actually time to start working on this bike, as we have been in the last few videos. We already put the chain sprocket on it last year. Before the end of the season, we put a new tire on it. We got that all done. The lights work, everything works on the bike. It's all good. Couple of things. When I got this bike, like I told you guys in some of my previous videos, this was a basket case. I really haven't done anything to it except for assemble it and ride it. And of course, we made this thing into a CDI bike. So this Kawasaki KM100 actually features a 1996 to 2001 CDI unit, and that works great. So we have a few issues with the bike. One, a lot of oil coming out the tailpipe, which could be due to the problem that I'm having now. So the problem I'm having with the bike is when I accelerate, it's a little on the hesitation side. So it has like a bog to it. You know what I mean? So we're going to take a look and see if we can adjust the carburetor and see if that right there will help the bog, and that will tell me if I can adjust it. That will tell me to look into the exhaust system. So we're going to take a look and see if we can adjust this carburetor, and we'll go from there. Okay, I got you guys in the stand. We might have to make a part 2 on this video because it looks like it's going to rain. So what I'm going to use here is my M12. It is the bit driver one, and I'm using a number 3 Phillips bit. This is an impact gun, which is nice, and it's the fuel. So when you do it, you can see how much battery life is in there. 4 bars. It's a 4.0 is what I'm using. So let's see if we can zap that off without any issues and go from there. Okay, there we go. Just like that. That impact gun is able to take off these screws without using an impact driver. I love that thing. So on these carbs, there is a adjustment screw right here on the side. I got red, what do you call it there? I have red fingernail polish on it in case it was leaking, and some of them get loose. So I'm going to start this bike up, and I'm going to see if I can adjust the carburetor to run any better. Now, when you look in the book, it shows you a setting of 1 1/4, and some of them are set to 1 1/2. That is just the base setting. That doesn't mean that you set it to 1 1/4 or 1 1/2 and forget about it. That is the starting point for your adjustment. So we're going to see if we can get this thing to not bog. Always runs good. All right, new screwdriver. All right, I'm still getting a heck of a bog out of it. And I don't like that. So basically what's happening is this mixture is too rich. So one of the things that we can do, which I don't, judging by the sky, I don't think we're going to have time to do today, is we can move the needle up and down to see, but this thing should be set in the middle. It should be no problem. I definitely think, what is happening is I think that the needle is on the wrong setting on this thing. And I think that the needle is too far up. So by bringing the needle up, it richens the mixture. By bringing it down, it leans it. The other thing that could be the problem is an incorrect main jet. Okay, the bike idles absolutely perfect. So if you have a main jet that is too big, that could also have this problem. So it could be a combination of a main jet, or it could be an incorrect needle setting. Now, this carburetor that's on here didn't come from this bike. It came from a KE100. So this could have a bigger jet than what's specified in the repair manual. So you got to keep these things in consideration when you put carburetors on from different bikes. Now, I don't remember. It's been a while since I've been into this carburetor, but it would make perfect sense with the fuel, with the amount of smoke I'm getting, to have a bigger jet. So what we're going to do is we're going to inspect the needle, because that's the easiest one, and then I will find out what the actual jet is for this. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove the top part of the carburetor. We're going to try doing this without taking the carburetor off, because I really don't want to pull the carburetor off, but if I have to, I will. Not that big of a deal. However, I prefer not to. So we're going to try to beat the weather. I want to inspect the needle first. I think that'll be just an easy, quick way of checking. Looks like I'm going to have to pull the carburetor because of where it's located. So you try to pull that off, it's going to hit here, and then I won't be able to get the carburetor to do that. So I do have to pull the carburetor to get that out. So to pull the carburetor off, I'm going to have to undo the plug on the side here and put a screwdriver in there and loosen it up, take it out, and go from there. So I think I might be able to get that done before the weather hits. We're supposed to get some bad weather. So there's your plug right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's your plug right there. You want to pull that off the side. Don't lose this. This thing is very important. Very important. And then you gotta just take a look in the hole and see what type of tool you need. I think it's a flathead on this one. Okay. So I already undid the screw, and I pulled the fuel line off right here, because it's kind of a pain in the neck to do. And then we're going to pop this off the rest of the way and work the carburetor back and forth. See if we can get that out. Okay. Once your carburetor is out, you can take your slide out. And you're going to need a 12mm wrench for the choke. Alright, once you undo your choke, you should be able to just twist it by hand and slide the whole thing right out. Okay, so we have the carburetor out. Let's take a peek at the slide real quick, because that would be the easiest part to check. So to do this, you want to take the throttle cable, you're going to slide that down as far as you can. Push up on this, grab hold of your cable, put it through the groove, and slide it right. Just slide it right out. Okay, that's how that comes out, like that. And make sure yours doesn't have a keeper. Actually, this one does have a keeper. Oh boy. Alright, so this one's screwed in. This is the other style. This actually has a screw in there holding the plate down. So that's going to be a problem for us to see what this thing is. without unscrewing that plate. It shouldn't be like that. Let's see here. I forgot about the style carburetor. Show you how to do this. Okay, these carburetors right here can be complicated because there's a screw that holds the retainer plate in there. So what you have to do, okay, is you're going to have to pull the spring up and rotate it. So you're going to pull the spring up as best you can, pull it all the way out. Then you're going to rotate the slide halfway around, and then you'll expose. I don't know if you can see it or not in there, but there is a screw right there. It's a Phillips screw right inside here. Kind of a real pain to get to. I don't know why they did it, and now that I know that this bike has that, that is going to go bye-byes, because I don't like that style. It's a pain in the neck. Putting it back together is even worse. There's the little Phillips screw right there. Try not to lose it. Then you can push this back in and slide the whole thing out, and then you'll be able to get the plate out with the needle. Okay. Which is just a nightmare. This is just a really bad design. Okay. You can actually rotate the plate over that way too. And then you have your needle. Your needle comes out. Okay, so on this style needle, oh, look at that, guys. Look at that. This needle is non-adjustable. There is only one setting on it. It's got a spacer underneath and a washer up top. I do not like this style. This is just a bad style. Who knows? You have now, in order to adjust this, oh wait, you can't. So typically on your needle there is adjustments up and down, and you can put the pin in and slide it up and down. This carburetor unfortunately does not have that style. This is a bad style carburetor. I don't like the style carburetor. Alright, so here is another slide right here, and you'll note on this one here you can slide it up through and you can see the grooves. So let's see if I can get that out real quick. I'm getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. It is awful out here today. Alright, so hold on 1 second. So you can see on the slide, you can see the adjustments right there. So I can put that, slide that right through the center hole on here. This gets slid right in, and this one uses a keeper, no screw to hold it in. This is nice for quick changes. Okay, not compatible with that one, by the way. So let's try that. See if that helps at all. Because I know that style is my favorite style. And I don't have to worry about it. Now, if I need to adjust, I can. And I can do it easily, where I couldn't do it before like that. Now this one's kind of complicated to get in too, because this one actually has to fit down in and lock in. So this one goes in, and then you have to move it off to the side. Okay, so let's see here. Very complicated to get in. So you're gonna have to give me a couple of minutes, because I'll show you. The cable's gonna go in on the big end and lock in on the small end. Alright, so I'm gonna try to get that in for you. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna line up. You're gonna put your lock on first, line up all your holes, push it in, and slide it over until it locks into place. Once you're locked into place, you're good. However, when you get it all together, the needle's gonna move up and down. So you need a retainer. This retainer is held in with the spring, and there's a lock. See that lock right there? Now, you know where the cable went in and you had to move it over. I showed you. This right here fills in the big part. So if you don't put that in correctly, it can pop out, and then your throttle cable will fall off. Okay, so let's see. Unfortunately, it's extremely hard to show you on video. I have to explain it because there's not enough room for the camera and my fat fingers. Okay, so I'm gonna expand you up a little bit. See if I can get you guys as big as I can to show you this. Okay. All right. So right there seems to be a good spot. Maybe up a little higher. Oh, it's too high. Hold on, guys. Bear with me. Okay. So now, when you pick this up under here, you'll see where it goes in. It locks in right there. All right. So now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the carburetor bowl off. Whoop, it's way too big now. I'm going to pull the carburetor bowl off and we'll do an inspection inside there. Alright, so that's the inside of the carburetor right there. And the bowl doesn't look too bad. I mean, it's got a little bit of varnish on it, but that's, you know, to be expected for how old it is. And the fact that it has never had a kit. So everything looks alright in there. I was checking to see if the needle had, the jet had backed out, but doesn't look like it has. So I think we're good there to put this back together and we'll continue. Also too, is you want to get the note on the size of the jet. The size is written on the jet itself. This one's just so really nasty you can't read anything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to purchase the proper jet for this bike, and we'll go from there. Okay, just a few finishing touches. I put the carburetor on basically the same way you took it off. Slide back on, make sure it's all hooked up. Whew. All right, so turn the fuel on. Now, something to know, I changed the whole top slide piece, so I may have to go ahead and do the adjustments on it. But for right now, we're going to check it out and see if it'll run the way it is. So we'll do a first start. I got the gas flowing to it right now, and we'll see if we can fire it off. Still boggy. I guess we'll have to see if it's got any power to it, right? All right. Yeah, still not happy with the performance on it, so we're going to have to get into it deeper. There'll be a part 2 to this video. We're going to have to get into doing that carburetor and find out, because what's going on is it just bogs. It just falls right on its face. So something in that system is not working properly, and that's what we got to find out. We got to find out what is going on. with it to make it bog like that. We know we have beautiful spark, we have a CDI ignition in there, so that's not the issue, and it wasn't doing it before, so that's telling me that there's something in the carburetor, probably a clogged jet or something on those lines. So after riding it and test driving it, what I've come to the conclusion is the main jet is too big. And that would be why I'm smoking, because it's too rich. I'm getting too rich out the tailpipe, and it's too rich burning out the tailpipe. It's not just oil. So this carburetor, like I said, came off of KE 100, and a couple of things that would hint around that the jet would be too big would be, well, nevertheless, the exhaust. And you're probably saying to yourself, Kevin, why would that have anything to do with it? Because this, even though this is basically the same engine, this is a 100cc, just like the other one, 99 actually, but the exhaust is smaller. When you have a smaller exhaust and the KE is bigger and has bigger exhaust ports, a KE can run a bigger main jet, where a KM and a KD can't. So I think the jet that's in this thing is too big. So I'm going to pick up the proper jet for this and put this in. And that right there is pretty much it. So it's not starving for fuel, it's rich. So it's getting too much fuel. And that is why it falls on its face, because it's got too much fuel. It idles perfectly because both bikes take the same idle jet or pilot jet. But the main jet is different. So that's what we have to go. That's the way we have to attack it. So we have to start off at the basics where it was originally. So the carburetor itself is the same. The jets are different. So that right there would be the avenue of the difference between the two, and that's the way we have to go. So I'm going to have to get the actual jet for this one. This one is too big. I think it's a 75.5 or something like that, and this one's an 80, 80.5 or bigger. I don't remember what size this one is. So that's the way I'm going to take this bike. So I'm going to get the proper jet. We'll throw that in and then go from there. So this will be part one of the get this thing to run right. So I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you for subscribing.